Hi, I'm Becky, and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. I help women over 30 stuck in diet cycles create that food freedom and feel confident in their bodies. And that's by breaking down diet culture's hold, I should say, without focusing on the scales and missing out on living. And that's all through my one-to-one Empower coaching or my Misfit Club group coaching. In today's episode, I'm really excited to have Rachel with me. She is an alt fashion designer, and I absolutely love her page and what she's doing to empower women to embrace their alternative selves. So, thank you, Rachel, for joining me today. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. Yes. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Well, I'm really excited about this conversation. Like I said, I'm a big fan of your page. But for anyone that doesn't know you yet, could you tell us a bit about like who you are and how you ended up doing what you do?
Yes, absolutely. I grew up in a very small town in Pennsylvania on the east coast of the United States. My mother taught me how to sew when I was 7 years old, and I never really stopped. She made most of my clothes growing up, and then when I got to high school, I realized that I was a little different. I was more drawn to different types of fashions than what was in the malls. And you have to remember, I'm going to say it, I'm 43, so this was in the mid to late 90s. There was no Hot Topic yet. There was no, alternative stores, no internet. You I mean, for us, it was like getting shows from punk bands by going to the shows, or the T-shirts from punk bands by going to the shows. That's how you got your punk apparel. So I started sewing my own clothing, um, and when it was time to my dad wanted me to go to college, and I thought, well, I'm scared. I don't know about fashion. I can't make a career out of it. I'm alternative. So I kind of stayed local and did art school. And then I was like, forget this. This is absolutely what I want to do. I moved to California and went to fashion school. And I was 21. I was by myself. I just up and left. I thought, what's the worst that can happen? And I just fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the industry. And I've had a career for the last 20 years. So fast forward, more recently, I've had multiple businesses. I've had children. I've been married. Um, I now actually teach fashion design. That is what you could say is my main job, my full-time job. And on the side, although it's like just as much a full-time job, I run my brand by Rachel Nevarez, where I have sort of found a niche of making alternative apparel for older women, women who grew up punk rock, gothic, alternative. I mean, even emo is thrown in there, but personally for me, I was actually emo came a little after me. So it's like,
Yeah.
but I absolutely embrace it. And I cater to these women that were, those alternative at heart, but have now are mothers or doing their school pickups and drop-offs every day or working for corporate, right? Because
Yeah.
we all have to pay our bills, and no shame in that, but they still want, that's still inside us. They still want to express themselves. They still love leopard print and plaid or black or whatever it is, and so that's kind of where I come in.
I love that. I definitely wear a lot of black and the headscarves. like,
There are many
I,
shades of black.
oh yeah, I know. You can mix it up definitely. and but that's what like 'cause I know Rachel and I've talked before, and I like for like a lot of people that follow me already know that I have background in fashion. I actually studied fashion myself and worked in the industry for a little bit before I became a coach. But it was more mainstream fashion at that point. But I'd love to know, like, because you did say there, like, growing up in a small town. I myself did too. But how did like that old fashioned come into your life?
um It was really the music. I started exploring music. I just didn't resonate with what was being played on the radio. I started to get glimpses of different alternative fashion in magazines. That's how you got your information and your visuals. And so it was a lot of looking in history books and magazines and art and starting to see, images of punk rockers or discovering the dead Kennedys, or that's what really got me into it. I was like, I like this. I like this music. I actually played guitar when I was in high school.
Really?
I think everybody that was into the alternative scene, did some sort of instrument. but you really had to seek out, imagery and inspiration. And so within CD covers, tape cassette covers, and then trying to recreate it and find it. And like I said, there were no Hot Topics or alternative stores in the malls yet. You couldn't just jump on an Amazon. But even the fabric stores didn't really carry, leopard prints or plaids, or like I would have to wait for Christmas when all like the quilting plaids would come out and then like attempt to make a pair of bondage pants out of them, which would always be a disaster because the fabric didn't stretch and I didn't know how to fit myself. But it was like you worked with what you got. There was a lot of do it yourself. I remember buying paint markers and making stencils and stenciling punk rock shirts of bands in London that I couldn't have access to their t-shirts because there was no internet. I mean, it sounds like, ancient times, but it was not that long ago. Like so much has changed, but because that, like, I was so drawn to that style and that music, and I was like, this is me, this is, I think we don't feel like we fit in, right? We don't, but then we find a community that we feel like we fit in, and that was what was kind of wild. Is like I would go to these shows in downtown Pittsburgh, and I knew all the local punk rock kids, from all the different high schools, and it's like I was closer to them than maybe some of the people in my own high school, and that community just felt so good. I belonged there, so. I'm sorry if I'm like rambling.
No, I love it. I love it. Like
wrap it up, Rach. I'm like, I don't even remember what the question was. I'm just telling stories.
But that's amazing to hear, like that. How you like started to get into like obviously that kind of old fashioned. Like I was thinking of my own experience because I came from, like you're saying, a tiny little village in the middle of Exmoor in the UK, like in the West Country. And we didn't get the music down there, so I like had a very different experience. Like I never felt like I fitted in, but I was into fashion. But I was drawn to like Vivienne Westwood and Alexander McQueen.
Yes.
They were like my like inspiration, and they're still my favorite designers to this day.
Right.
But obviously Vivienne Westwood is very much involved in the punk scene, like with the Sex Pistols, with Malcolm McLaren and stuff as well. So that's where like a lot of influence. I was thinking about her first collection that I went to see actually the other day. I went to see it it was quite a few years ago now actually, when it was in the V&A, and it was like she used boiled up chicken bones to make like on t-shirts, which was like her first kind of t-shirts that she started to make, which is incredible. Get creative.
Yeah, I really, like I said, we didn't have any. I really rabbit holed. When I said I would look for books. The bookstore was my favorite. Anything on punk history, not just to learn about it, but to see the images in it, because they would have images of her store. And it's funny, like I said, I'm a fashion instructor now, and I actually have a whole day where we spend on punk fashion, because we talk about how just really racy it was, and how it really broke down the sort of constructs of modesty and covering yourself up, and it was more about sex appeal and exposing yourself and like breaking down clothing, traditional clothing. And it's just like, now that I'm older, I could like nerd out about it, but then it was just so cool to see these ripped up t-shirts and plaid pants and the boots. A lot of my imagery is from London, is from England, I'm also like equally excited that you're actually from there.
I know, that was a big influence into my like fashion. But obviously, the exposure, like you said, like obviously Vivienne Westwood did a big like bondage kind of collection as well, and then you've got like Alexander McQueen with those Bumster trousers that are really low, and everyone was like, oh, I can't believe he's doing that. So like it's this like shock factor, which I love. They like push the boundaries a little bit. Which actually brings it into like around this kind of style. Like, what is it represented for you? Is it like that kind of rebellion, like confidence, maybe belonging, identity in that?
I think, I think about this a lot now. Like, why was I so drawn to that stuff? Why was I? And I also think like a lot of my confidence comes from just constantly being told I couldn't. You can't get a job looking like that. You can't get a husband looking like that. And I think that's I mean, to say that out loud now, I think some people would laugh at it, but then there might be some people that are, still sort of, have to live under these types of rules and be like, oh my God, I can relate. And I don't want to blame any of the, adults in my life at the time, because I do, like now as a parent, genuinely believe that they wanted what was best for me. And things like that were not normal then. And, tattoos were associated with prisons, and colored hair was, associated with degenerates and living on the streets. And so it was a lot of like, you can't do that and look like that. And I was kind of like, I don't know if you know that meme, like the equivalent of like, hold my beer,
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like, oh, I'll show you. And, so I went to college with a pink mohawk, and I, got
Love
good
that.
grades, and I got every job I could get. And it's like, oh, I can't do this. I'll show you I can do this. And I will admit that I think I had more difficulty with how young I was than more so my appearance. Like people were just like, you're too young to do that. I worked in a wedding shop in high school. That was one of my jobs. Like I always had sewing jobs. I worked in fabric stores. I worked in a wedding shop. I made curtains with little old ladies in
Oh,
college. Like it was great. And it wasn't so much my appearance. Like a lot of these places I could get jobs at because I was in the back, right? I wasn't working with customers. But it was a lot of like, you're too young to do that. And I'm like, again, hold my beer. Like
yeah.
I could sew this dress, I could fix this dress better than any other seamstress out on this floor. And it was this constant, like, I think desire to disprove people. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what I look like. It's more about like, do I show up? Do I say and do, or do I do what I say I'm going to do? Can I hit the deadlines? Can I get the job done? And it was just this like, I'll show you that I can be covered in tattoos and have black hair, or with the time pink hair, whatever, and still be all the things you told me, and still be all the things that you are, and
Yeah.
do them better than you. It was like, that's what lit my fire. Like, I will prove you wrong. I'm getting all fired up now.
Yeah, I love that. I'm getting fired up too because I do think maybe there's this like connection of like with alternative people having that because I just thinking like at school because I got quite badly bullied. I remember them saying like because I said I wanted to work in fashion and they all laughed at me and I was like wow, well I'm gonna go and do it now. So
Yeah.
it just like fired me up even more. Maybe it is maybe get that fire. They were just like well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
We did talk about age there a little bit, like you said, being too young, but like thinking about as we age, do you think there's like a pressure on women to like tone themselves down as they get older, or have you felt that?
I think I think there is always, right? Always pressure on women to be quiet, to not be loud, to not make a fuss. That is like sadly ingrained in us since we're
Yeah.
little, right? We could say that's where it started for both of us. Like, oh, you're the freak, you're the weirdo, you're the, we get bullied, we get made fun of. Tone it down so you won't get bullied, tone it down so you don't get made fun of. But yes, I think sadly what surprised me is like, for as much as I got bullied and judged, I had never been more judged than when I became a mother, than when I became, an adult. Like, I think when you're a kid, you think, well, I'm going to grow up and this is all going to go away. And suddenly, like, you're like, wait a minute. I thought my skin was going to clear up and the bullying was going to go away. But it's like a different kind of bullying, right? It's like a different kind of judgment. And so, yes, I think there is forever this pressure to be quiet, to tone down, to just blend in. But especially as we get older. So if you work maybe a woman has to take a corporate job because, the money's good or that's what they went to school for. I mean, just because you have a corporate job doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. Like, let's clarify that. But, I have a lot of women that tell me, like, one of my most popular pieces is my fashion harness. And
Yeah.
anytime I share it on social media, I get the comment, I could never wear that to work. And it's like, there's two comments. There's like, I could never wear that to work. Like, I don't have the confidence to wear that to work. And then there's, HR would never allow that. So that means that there's a dress code.
Yeah.
And, I kind of challenge these women, like, well, what does the dress code say? Like, can't wear a belt because that's all it is. Are you sure you're not, interjecting your own thoughts about it, or your own insecurities about it, or are you afraid what people are going to say? And so there's a lot of videos of like, I know you're dying to try this. Let's show you how to wear it subtly and ease into it. And it's basically like wear something over it, so all you see is the belt. But because, right, we're dressing for ourselves. We're not dressing for anybody else. So, like, you're wearing it. You feel empowered. You feel confident. But hopefully you're still under the radar with HR, or you're getting, the dress code is still compliant. So those natural things in life happen. And rather than fighting those, rather than saying like, suck it up, buttercup, be confident, do better. Like, I think it's important to acknowledge that these are the lives we have now. There is, in my opinion, still a certain way to dress at certain events or certain attire, but I can always interject my flair somehow. I can always interject myself, through the patterns I'm wearing, throwing on my harness, so that I don't feel like I'm putting on a costume or I'm putting on an act. I am myself, but I'm presentable. I'm participating in this event, and personally, nobody said anything to me ever. I think everybody knows who I am and what I do and what I'm all about. And once they get to know me a lot better, it's like, I'm just part of them now.
Yeah, I love that. And as well, and I think when you dress for yourself, there's a bit of confidence that comes with that because you fit you yourself. You're not trying to hide, if that makes sense, or blend in.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the word to use. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned there about like, becoming a mother as well was like, a bit of you felt that, I guess, bit of judgment and stuff there. But yeah, because like you do feel like a lot of women sometimes lose themselves as well as they get older, like after kids. But what do you feel happens, or like, is it like an expectation of like how you should be as a mother? Is that kind of what you experience, and that do you feel like that's why people lose themselves, or what kind of happens there?
I think it's like a couple things. Like, that expectation is there, but I think the one thing that we don't realize or talk about is that we simply lose time to ourselves. It's no longer about just us. It's like us and children. So I think this ties into, weight, and why women gain weight. I know, maybe I'll just speak for myself. Like, my weight just goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And I think when we talked, a year ago or so, I was like, I've kind of fallen off my lifestyle changes. I feel like I put on a pound or two. Well, I have since put on about 20 pounds, unfortunately. And it's because I'm not prioritizing myself. I'm prioritizing everything but myself. I'm prioritizing my business. I'm prioritizing my children. The laundry has to get done. The groceries have to get bought. And I'm just kind of picturing, like, as a new mother, like, oh, when the baby naps, I'm going to get all this stuff done. But it's like, I think we lose sight of how many hours we really have in a day and how long it really takes to, like, raise tiny humans, or, and you asked about motherhood. So yes, I'm speaking specifically about motherhood, and I know some people don't have kids and still have these struggles, but, I think it's, there's the pressure to be a certain way, be a certain mother, look a certain way, and then we try to, hit those standards, and then there's not enough time in the day to hit those standards, and it's like, okay, well, let go of those standards, look at what the time you do have, and just find pockets of time where you can prioritize yourself, just, whether it's meal prepping or going to the gym. Like, I do go to the gym regularly, but right now, like, my eating is a problem because we are constantly scrambling. Yeah. Okay, like this morning, I was like, I got this interview. I have a drop in 2 hours. I have to get my hair done. Like, who put this schedule today? Oh, I did, And I was like, we're getting burritos at Chick-fil-A, everybody. And the kids are like, yay! And, but in my head, I'm going, oh my God, this is like the third day I've had a Chick-fil-A burrito, for breakfast instead of the oatmeal that I bought 2 weeks ago. And I think it's all of the distractions instead of just saying, like, what is best for me? What works for me? What should I be doing for me? Instead we kind of, oh, I should look this way, or I should eat this way, or I should act this way. And it's just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah, so much. Honestly, this is a thing that comes up so much, and like I was doing another podcast with a women's health professional. We are just like, it is the lack of time. Women just do not have as much time as used to. There's responsibilities, careers, like there's so much pressure. So no wonder that sometimes you feel a bit overwhelmed, and that you're like, I can't yeah, just like you said, like the first thing really to go is maybe you like looking after yourself and like your style and the way you dress. But it's like you said, it's trying to fit that in to help yourself feel good at the same time. But so that brings me on to actually, like, what do you feel like dressing as I guess as a grown woman actually like kind of mean, or how can it help others like stay true to like themselves?
Yeah. I think it means different things for different people. So like I think sometimes if people, like, I don't know how to put this. It's the judgment again. It's saying like, okay, alt for grown women, then coming to my page and thinking, oh wait, this is really subtle. This is really simple. This isn't alternative. And no, I had a pink mohawk at one point, for years and years and years. Hot pink makeup, hot pink lipstick, mini skirts, fishnets, all the studded everything. I have a lot of my old punk rock band tees,
Oh, I
but
love
like
that.
as like style changed, like I'd buy them oversized. Like it was cool to wear them baggy, and then it was cool to wear them really tight, and then it was cool to rip the sleeves off. So like these shirts I've had for 30 years. It's really funny how much smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller they get, because I've cut the the neckline super low, and then I cropped it, and so I guess my point is like, I have been that girl. I have been like punk rock to the nine, and I'm not that person anymore. And that doesn't mean that I think it's immature or wrong, or that you can't do that. But like for me personally, that pink mohawk that brought me all that confidence, in college, that's not what's going to bring me confidence now. And so like recognizing what's going to bring me confidence now, and what from my youth I can pull over. And I say that because I follow a lot of alternative accounts, and they're anywhere from like people like me who are moms wearing their leopard skirts and have, beautiful red hair picking their kids up, to like the goth girl that has the undercut and all the face piercings and the nails 2 inches long and black everything, and she is just as worthy as I am, as a mother, as a person, and has this incredible style. So I think it's important to figure out like what is it that makes you happy in this moment. Like I'm not going to wear that plaid bondage mini skirt anymore. It's actually still in my closet because I love it so much. I can't even part with it, but like I'm not going to put it on. Like one, it doesn't fit, and two, like I'm not going to wear that out now. But that doesn't mean that, some other girl who's alternative can't. So making sure you're wearing something that makes you feel good for who you are now and what roles you play now. Like, one example is like my kids have just hit all the activities all the time. All I do is drive them around for 2 hours every day phase. Like, and I crack up because there's so many baby books out there, and everybody tells you how to raise a baby, and then you're like left on your own. And I'm like, nobody told me about this phase. So like every day from 3 to 5:30, I lose that window to them doing this, driving them around. And so my outfits, where I kind of went into like more dresses and skirts, and have kind of gone almost back to like comfortable leggings, overalls. I wear a lot of overalls now, whereas like a year ago, all I would wear is skirts. And it doesn't mean I don't like skirts. It's just I have so many roles in a day that I find I'm more comfortable now in like leggings, and then like layering cardigans and t-shirts, and like and expressing myself through accessories, whereas before I was like expressing myself through the clothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was
Like,
just about to say that actually, like, I suppose you don't need to wear like the full outfit all the time, but like have like, for example, me and my headscarves. But sometimes I could just be wearing like a hoodie or like some comfy clothes, but I have a headscarf on because I'm like,
exactly. You're interjecting that like this is the piece that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is just like what and how quickly that moment changes. I mean, this was just like within a year. I'm run around mom now. Okay, we gotta. I can't wear my Vans for 8 hours anymore. It's like I actually have on my list like get some Dr. Scholl's so that I can wear my Vans for 8 hours. But like flat shoes like that, I can't. It's hard, too
Yeah.
hard on my body.
I just live in my Dr. Martens, to that. There we go. Like,
Yeah, the bouncy soles, but those soles, man, I don't know, they're not as bouncy as they used to be.
no, they're not. I can agree for that. Like, I've had Dr. Martens since I was at school, and purple ones when I was in school, when I was like a young teenager. But and they were definitely different back then. Definitely different.
Yeah.
Um, how much? Like, I was gonna say, how much do you think like what we wear like affects how we feel in our bodies as well? Because obviously, like you said, you've gone through different, like, and obviously we do as we grow up, go through different like body shapes and stuff like that. But how much do you feel like it affects how we feel?
Um, if you're not wearing like something that fits you well, and I think, as women maybe increase or decrease weight, they get stubborn about changing their sizes, right? They want to be this size, and sometimes we end up wearing clothing that's too big or too small on us, like we're not getting the right fit, and that affects how we feel, right? If we're constantly tugging something down, or if we're trying to constantly cinch something up, like we're taking our mind off of whatever we're doing and we're focusing on our garment. If we're buying clothes, I have an example. So I became a fashion professor 7 years ago. I can't believe it's been 7 years, but 7 years ago I got this job. And prior to that, I had worked in factories. So I was, with the seamstresses, I was running cuts around. So all I'd wear was jeans and t-shirts. T-shirts with holes in them, actually, from, standing at the tables and at the cutting tables and whatnot. When I got the teaching position, I went to the mall and I went shopping, and I went and bought black trousers and nice blouses and all the things I thought a teacher should wear. And I wore them diligently for the first month of school, and I felt so uncomfortable. Like I just felt, even teaching in front of my students, all I could think about was it wasn't even like, do I look okay? It was more of like, this isn't me. Is this me? Can I pull this off? Do I look like, it just didn't feel right? And when I started, there was I'm the fashion teacher, so I better be wearing some good stuff. And B, there's not a dress code at school, provided, the dean was always like, well, if you show up in something that's inappropriate, I'm going to tell you, and, but I started wearing, my leopard dresses. I started wearing my harnesses. I started wearing the clothes that I made. So it was like my fashion, but like slightly elevated, because I did want to be presentable to my students. I did want to, represent my industry and my field, but like also let them know that there is a lot of flexibility in the industry and what they wear. And it changed my confidence, speaking in front of people and being confident in my lesson plans and being confident in what I was teaching these students. So I think absolutely. It's like, what's one of the first things you do when you wake up? You get dressed. It sets the stage for your day. It sets your mood, which is why I was kind of going back to like, you might find me wearing more like overalls and leggings right now, because my day is all, I'm business owner, and then I'm professor, and then I'm mom, and then I'm, volleyball, throwing balls at people, I'm not the coach, but I'll step in and help, and if you're in something that makes you feel insecure, you're going to feel insecure in every single one of those roles that you have to do throughout the day. And so, I saw I'm totally like, woo, but I saw a reel the other day that a guy was talking about, like, just the world is a little crazy right now, and people are feeling sad about it. And he was like, you have got to show up for yourself. You have got to get dressed in the morning, because you have control over that, right? Yeah. A lot of our fears and concerns come from the fact that we do not have control over what's happening, but we have control over what we put over our body. And if that's one thing we can control, we can set the stage for our moods and our happiness and our feelings, especially if we're picking something that we feel confident in.
Yeah, I love that. Like, because I was having this conversation a while ago with someone, but it's like I work from home and I'm like a health fitness coach. I don't wear my gym stuff all day. It's not
Sure.
me. I get up and I put my clothes on that make me feel good, gives me confidence, because then I'm going to show up as myself. Like you
Yeah.
said, if I'm putting on this like gym outfit because I'm a, like health and fitness coach, I'm not going to be me, and I'm going to be all like, oh, I'm uncomfortable all day. So yeah, it's like like I said, setting the stage, how you want to show up, and you have control over that, which I love that. So, what would you say to the woman who wants to express herself more but is scared of what people would think?
Yeah, I talk a lot about this on my account, and I think it's like those are the videos that really resonate, that go viral, or that get the most engagement, because it's a lot of like, where do I start? Where do I start? And it's like, I think there's a lot of intimidation with like, okay, I'm gonna be who I want to be. I need a whole new wardrobe, and I don't even have that kind of money, right? So, I first and foremost, you don't need to build a whole new wardrobe. It's like, go in your closet and find the piece that you love the most, and just start with that. If you're like, I get a lot of like, all I wear is jeans and t-shirts, or leggings and t-shirts, and there's a lot of thrifting accounts out there now. There's a
Oh,
lot, like,
great.
I
Yeah.
do not, speaking of time, I do not have time to go thrifting. I love thrifting. I did it a lot as a youth when I had a lot of time. And so I follow an account, it's Shop Tag. She's here in the United States, but she does the thrifting and resells it. And that's like her business. And she does story sales. So it's like super fun. Like, I get on my phone at 6 o'clock Friday and I like click through her stories and I want this, I want this. It's like, it's a really fun experience. And I can do it from my couch in about, 5 minutes, flipping through what she picked. So we do need to buy something, like for a long time, I was like, start with skirts. I didn't wear skirts for a long time. Just start with like a super cute skirt, because it can be paired with t-shirts, cardigans. You could throw a sweatshirt on it. You can pair it with a blouse. Like, we can make it formal if we need a date night outfit, or if we go to the office. So start there and just pair it with what you already have. If we are like I'm sorry, I'm not going to get out of my leggings and t-shirts, that's fine. Let's get you a harness. Let's get you a
Yeah.
belt. Let's get you, is that your kitty cat?
Oh no, it's my dog. I'm
Oh, it's
sorry.
a dog. I thought it was a meow.
No, yeah, I know it's Bodhi. She's a staffy, so they're quite vocal. She's a
Oh,
bit
sweetie.
needy, but she's just woken up and decided she wants
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah. Oh, sweetie Petey. Um, um, I'm not gonna tell any, like, sometimes we are like, this is our comfort area. Like, I feel safe, I feel secure in my leggings and a t-shirt. Fine. If we want to elevate that, let's throw a blazer over it. Let's pair it with our Doc Martens. Let's get those fun little striped tube socks, and layer those over our leggings. Let's get leg warmers. Let's get a headscarf. Let's do the earrings. Like, there are certainly ways to elevate leggings and t-shirts. You don't need a whole new wardrobe. And there are inexpensive ways to add things that you're missing, and make it fun. Like, oh, I get a lot of, oh, it looks so good when you put it on, and then when I put it on, it looks terrible. It's like, girl, I did not put it on and walk out the door. I did like 6 costume changes before I figured out what worked for me. Like, there was years and years of trial and error. Like, yes, I'm probably now to the point where I can just grab and go, but it's as a result of years and years and of, ever since I was a kid, standing in front of the mirror and putting stuff together and going, do I
Yeah.
like this? Tying a knot in the t-shirt, taking the knot out, cutting the t-shirt. It's like, you have to play around, because that's another thing. Like all of our bodies are very, very different.
Yeah.
And whether people are like it or not, there are certain silhouettes that are going to flatter certain bodies. And we may have to play around with our garments to find what those proportions are for our bodies.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that. So, Yeah, I definitely played around a lot as well myself with things. I was just remembering, like cutting up t-shirts and stuff. Sorry, I'm gonna have to open the door for her. She's being very
No
white.
problem. No problem.
So there we go. Right. Anyway, so just to, like, this has been an incredible conversation, Rachel. I feel like a lot of people will take a lot from this, especially a lot of, like I said, I've got a lot of women that follow me that are in the alt crowd as well, and I believe a lot of them do follow you as well, which so I'm glad, I think they will get a lot from this conversation. But just to close up, what do you want women to feel like when they get dressed in the morning?
I I think the word is confident. I just want them to be happy and confident. I want them to put the outfit on and not think twice about it. And I think okay, so here's a fun story. I'm sorry, I talk a lot about my kids. It's just like I said, this is a phase we're in right now.
That's all right.
And both my kids are going through braces right now. So I'm at the orthodontist office, and one of the receptionists comes up and she's like, "I love your outfit. Every time you walk in here, I'm like, oh, it's the mom with the fashion." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet." And then we got to chatting. She, what do you do? I said, "Well, actually, I'm a fashion instructor." And she was like, "Oh my God, everything, of course you are." And I get that a lot. But like what sticks with me, and this happens on Instagram too, is that people are like she had in her head, I'm the mom with the fashion, like I'm the fashion mom. Oh, look, it's the fashion mom again. So even though this is the first time we talked about my outfit, I go to that office a lot, unfortunately, right now. She has seen me over and over again and thought this about me and my outfits. And I think that's, my point being is like, we don't know who we're inspiring.
Yeah.
So, put on that outfit to make yourself feel good, but then realizing that you're secretly inspiring other women out there, whether they change their clothes or whether you just put a smile on their face, like you are impacting other women's lives by showing up as your true self. And I get that a lot on Instagram. Like, "I've been following you for so long. This is I never message people, but I just want to say don't be really, sometimes it's really sad things. Like, I just got out of an abusive relationship. I got divorced, and your page has inspired me to be my true self." Or, "I had children, I lost myself, and I've been following you for a while." Like, you never know who's watching. And, even if you are a mother, like your kids are always watching. Oh my God, those kids say things to me and I'm like, "How did you know that?" And they're like, "Well, you were telling Daddy the other day," like they are
Yeah.
always watching, always listening. So, showing up for yourself is also showing up for others. And I know it's like it's about us, it's about feeling good, but like keep that in mind too, of like
Love that.
the impact we're making just through fashion. Fashion is, and you're a fashion girly, so it's like fashion is silent communication,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be received the way we want it to be received, but it is communication.
Yeah. I love that. So go out there and inspire, basically.
Yeah.
Inspire others.
Show up for yourself and then inspire everybody else.
Yeah, I love it. But you're completely right. I absolutely love that. Well, thank you, Rachel. This has been an incredible conversation. Like I mentioned, I am sure a lot of people would take a lot from this. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me today. But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Becky, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me just let it all out. I really appreciate you just letting me talk, and these questions were excellent. So thank you so much.
No problem at all. Well, for everyone else, I will see you on the next episode. Thank you.